Alright everybody, we are going to do a patch pocket. How are we going to do this patch pocket? So here we have our patch pocket cut from the pattern that was provided to you in class. We have all of these lines. Those lines mean that we're going to fold this point over. We're folding this point 5mm over. We're going to iron them flat, and then we iron them over 2 centimeters, and then we iron them over 5mm, 5mm, and then we stitch them down onto what's called your placement panel. So the placement panel could of course either be the fabric on the outside or the lining on the inside. Yeah, we are just going to prepare this pocket real quick, so make sure that you've copied these lines over. If you haven't copied over, you can pause the video and write these measurements down. So on top here we have 1 centimeter, and down below we have 2 centimeter, and then on the sides here, this side, that side, and the bottom here we have 1 centimeter as well. Alright, so we're going to start off with the first 1 centimeter. We're going to fold them over. Let's do it the other way so you can see the lines. Né? Here is our first 1 centimeter. Grab our iron and iron them down. While the iron is heating up, I'm going to finger press it so long. Finger press them. And then the next one is our 2 centimeters. We're going to iron them over 2 centimeters. And luckily I have those lines to guide me, and it just makes it easier. Your lines would of course be drawn in with dressmaker's pencil. So that you don't have to worry about not having to wash the lines out. Alright, so there's my 1 centimeter and then my 2 centimeters. At this point in time, people, we want to do a top stitch on the pocket mouth. So right on that line we're going to do a top stitch. You could either fold it this way where you see the line or the edge of the fabric, do a 5mm top stitch, and then we're going to iron the rest of the fabric. Alright, let's go to the sewing machine and we do that top stitch. Alright people, so we are going to do that 5mm top stitch on the pocket mouth. This is where your hand is going to go into. Yeah, so we folded 1 centimeter and ironed it flat, and then we folded again 2 centimeter and ironed it over, and we are going to sew the pocket mouth. So top stitch, we're going to lift up our foot, of course, measure your 5mm and mark it. Lower your needle and do a back tack. 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and sew all the way right till the edge. Back tack. 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Once you've done your top stitch on the pocket mouth, we are now going to go back to the iron, and we're going to iron over that other 1 centimeter, right? 1 centimeter. I'm going to iron over 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, and then 1 centimeter. Alright, let's go back to the iron. Okay, cool. So we're just going to steam this down real quick. So let's start with the first 1 centimeter. So I'm flipping it over to where I can see the drawing or the pencil lines. I'm going to fold it over 1 centimeter. I'm going to finger press it first to get a nice crease, and then I'm going to iron them down. then I'm going to fold it to the other side and iron that other 1 centimeter down. And then the bottom as well, iron them up 1 centimeter, finger press, get a crease line, and then iron 1 centimeter. Alright people, so there we have our pocket nice and pressed. We now have to put it on a placement piece of fabric, and then we're going to sew it down. Alright, so my placement fabric is exactly the same color as my pocket. So here on the placement fabric, you can decide where to place them here. Of course, like mentioned, this is now of course your outer side of your fabric, and you want to place this pocket on there and stitch it down onto this placement fabric. So I'm gonna line them up over there. I've already made these little dotted markers where I'm gonna place my pocket right there. Alright, so all that I gotta do now is stitch the pocket down to the placement fabric. From the top we're going to sew an edge stitch. We're gonna back tack and stitch all along these edges up until there, and that's about it. We're gonna leave this open, of course, because we need our hand to go in there, right? Alright, let's get it. I'll catch you guys at the sewing machine. Alright people, I'll lift my foot, place my pocket under the foot. I've already marked where I want the pocket to be on this fabric. I'm going to lower my needle into the fabric, do a back tack of course. So I'm holding down everything. Of course you can draw lines so that your pocket is nice and straight on the placement. You can do back tack, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. And we are sewing 3 millimeter from the edge of the fabric. Make sure that all these raw edges are nice and tucked away. Lift up. We're going to do what's called pivot. We're going to pivot from this point to that side, so I'm leaving the needle in the fabric. Lift up the foot so I can swivel or pivot to the other side, right? Once the needle is kept into the fabric, the stitches, you won't lose the stitch. So make sure your needle is down into the fabric, lift your foot and swivel or pivot around to the other side. Alright. That is how you get around corners. Needle is held down into the fabric, lift up my foot, swivel around to the other side. Three, 1 2 3. Alright people, so there we have it. There's our pocket. I'm going to cut off these loose threads, and here's my scissor going into my pocket. all the way, right? Alright, and that's about it, people. It's nice and secured. Cool. And this is what we call our patch pocket. It's a patch pocket. Alright, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.